Hey, what's going on, everybody? FullFrontage here today, bringing y'all a Clash mini video. And in today's video, we have a very special guest. It is Vlad, community manager from Clash Mini. Vlad, how are you doing today?
Very good, very good, very excited. We are a few days before. Well, we've just submitted the build to Apple and Google, so we're like now looking into how badly we've made update 5, and if they tell us that the update 5 is good to go, we're good to go. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, hopefully there are no issues or delays on that end so we can get this update into the players' hands because
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's a good one. So
Yeah.
this is going to be a little bit different of a interview style, quote unquote. What we're going to be doing is, as you guys know, I like to give my 100% honest review on updates that come out because we all love this game so much. So it's very important to be critical with feedback and make sure that feedback is constructive and not just necessarily like, oh, this is terrible, and then you leave it at that. Feedback has to be
Yep.
constructive to actually make an impact. So community, you guys know that I love to do this. Vlad, you watch multiple creators' videos. I'm sure there's multiple constructive feedback that you get from various creators around the community as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk honestly, as usual.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna hop into it, and I'm gonna give like my first impressions, like when I first got my hands on the build, looked through everything, kind of checked everything out, got to play around with things, and then now that we're past all of the sneak peeks and that we've seen everything, we've been able to get the community's eyes on it as well. I'll talk about that as well. So when I first opened the game, I was honestly really shocked. And I say shocked because I know that this update is huge. It's been worked on for a while. And when we were going over the small talk and things like that, it was like Clash Mini 1.9, not necessarily Clash Mini 2.0. And when I first visually saw the update, I got really concerned because when Clash Quest recently did a massive overhaul, after that update, that's what killed the game. Whenever Dale had a big update, after that they had decided to kill the game. When Brawl Stars had a big update, they actually decided to go global. So it's not necessarily like give or take, but in my eyes, seeing a big update like this, where it's considered like Clash Mini 1.9, it was like, okay, this could be the update that pushes the game over the line to go global, or pushes it back to a, a certain death or a closer death. So I internally was like, okay, this is a huge update. And when I had first saw the update, the visuals, the UI, I was really concerned. I was like, compared to what it was like the 3D model, like everything was like, it didn't look like a Clash game. So I was like, okay, maybe I just need to get used to it. And over the course of playing with it, I actually did, it grew on me. Like from when I first opened the game to after covering all the sneak peeks, opening it, playing the game, it felt better. So on that side, like visually, it's very different than what we're used to from a Clash-based game in the Clash universe. So before we move on, I kind of wanted to talk about that aspect a little bit and talk about both sides, because first seeing it, I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. But then the more I got used to it, I'm like, okay, it's actually growing on me, and it feels like a game, but it still doesn't feel like the Clash universe per se.
Yeah. So there's multiple things here going on, and as a team, we didn't anticipate majority of it actually, because of the scale of the changes that we've applied to this update. There is so many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
So the UI has been completely reworked,
Yep.
which means the flow of it, the snappiness of it, the responsiveness of it, the look of it, the fonts, the icons,
Mm-hmm.
the everything, and that is one aspect. Another aspect is that we're introducing a new season, Robo Rumble, which
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much a sci-fi robot theme. And then on top of that, one thing that you are not having in a dev build is actually new music. So
Right.
that is also like a new music that we're introducing to the lobby, to the main screen. And then, like, all of these things combined with new skins that also fit the new theme, I feel like it is very overwhelming to people
Mm-hmm.
to absorb all of this information and all of these changes in a right way.
Yeah.
I think that the things are going to get better
Mm-hmm.
post update 5 because people will have time to kind of, as you said, get used to it, to get this change grow on them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, to listen to the community and see what they want to improve from this point on. And another question would be, but why did you change the thing that already worked? Right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of these kind of changes that we do would be perceived as, oh, well, they just want to change the game for the sake of changing the game instead of actually like doing something that they wanted to do. And the truth is that our art team was never happy with the original version of the game, how it looked like from the beginning of the beta launch.
Okay.
There were many problems and there was many inconsistencies in the way that the game looked and felt.
Mm-hmm.
And update 5 is not the solution to it. It's not the end of the journey. They wanted to begin to emphasize kind of the toy feel of the game much more, but also to kind of emphasize this modern look. And so imagining how a Clash game would look like in 2022 is actually very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so try to imagine Update 5, um, graphics and UI and style, but without a robot theme. Try to imagine something that is going to push it beyond one season and how the game would feel then. Because the characters didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay didn't change. When you get into the game, it doesn't really change except, Reddit screaming that they really want the battle box back. But it's other than that, like the core game hasn't really changed.
Right.
What changed is the meta part of it. And I think yes, that is the most shocking part that people need to get used to. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of potential to improve on such a change and make it even better than it used to be. One of the very funny moments which I had was when we were assembling kind of like the group of creators that I kind of recorded dev build for, and we wanted to kind of do this little experiment with like exclusive videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I sent them the footage, and they were also very like split on like why does this look like this? What is going on here? But the more they saw the footage of the game and the more they edited the videos, they kind of were like, yeah, I can dig this, right? Like
Yeah.
this is a mod game. This is
Exactly.
something that like wasn't made for people that are like, you know, hardcore Clash of Clans players since 2012, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
these people probably are like 30 plus years old and are used to the aesthetic of Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. So we kind of wanted to see like how that could appeal to the audience that we are aiming for, like the younger audience, the people that are like new to the genre and that haven't really played too many Clash games before.
Mm-hmm.
But those that have played Clash games could appreciate the new aesthetic. So it is a start, and as you mentioned, a big update can yield different results, and we felt like as a beta game we have a duty to try new things during the beta period
Mm-hmm.
and try to change almost everything that we can and that we want
Yeah.
to make the best game possible. And so it is not about like, all right, make it or break it kind of situation,
Mm-hmm.
but more, let's do something that we always wanted to do and do it in this time period because this is the only time we have to make the game that we always wanted to make.
Yeah.
So that was the philosophy, really.
Yeah, and that's awesome insight and kind of speaks volumes to kind of what we experienced, where it's like you had said, we open it and it's like, wow, this is very different, but then it's like, okay, it's actually growing, and that's something Brawl Stars actually went through as well. They changed their progression system, their graphics, probably 3 times before they landed on the 3D animation style for global launch.
Yep.
So it's definitely not make or break. It was just worrisome because like Clash Quest got killed, Everdale got killed, and then it's like Clash Mini's releasing this major update, and it's like, oh god, is like what's gonna happen? Like so that's kind of the thought that was entering into my head. Was this like, is this going to be a make or break update? And I really hope it's a make update. And we're gonna talk about the other aspects of the sneak peeks that people have seen. So just kind of like there's a ton of core changes that have happened to the game. Gizmos were introduced, hero progression reworked, mini progression reworked. The hero abilities are now unlockable at earlier stages. You can level up the abilities as you progress your hero level, all the way spanning up all the way to 13. That third level ability, or the third ability at the third level, you need to have a hero level of 13 to get to that. So it's really like kind of every step of the way you're progressing, you're leveling up your hero, you get something new. It's no longer you have to wait until level 4 and then you have to wait until level 8. It's every single level you get something new. So it feels fresh to the players. There's new strategy implemented to it. So just kind of talking about like the balance changes, the reworks, and the addition of gizmos. For the longevity of the game, it is incredible how much complexity and depth has been added to the game, and it's going to make it so much better in the long term. This is now a game at a point where I can see myself a couple years down the line with another ability to choose from or another level to level up for heroes, and it doesn't feel like the same game over and over again, which is kind of what we experienced in this past season. Adding in that complexity to just the hero progression and the mini progression is huge. And then on top of that, adding in gizmos to it. And there's a couple other things that I noticed with the addition as well. Gizmos, both you and your opponent have the exact same gizmos. The special tiles on the boards are now in the same exact spot for both players for the entirety of the match, which adds to a lot more skill in adaptation and knowledge of the game so that it doesn't feel too RNG based. So for the experienced players, the players who have been playing the game for the past year, this is a massive change for the better, in my opinion, because of how much complexity it adds, how much depth it adds to the game. It's not going to feel like you're playing the same match over and over and over again, because even if you queue up into a match with the same deck, it's going to be a different skill set. It's going to be a different play style. And even if you land on the same map, let's say you land on the new Barbtron plant, and that Electro tile's in the first row. Now you load up into another map on Barbtron plant, and now the Electro tile's in the back row. So now it's a completely different strategy that you're using, and you just play the exact same map. But because it's being positioned in the exact same spot every single round throughout the entirety of a match, it's going to feel different even if you're playing on the same board. So I'd love to kind of get some insight on the change to that, and kind of, was that like a vision that the team has had for quite some time, or is this just kind of something that came into fruition with this specific update?
I mean, like the change to the tiles specifically has been basically us listening to the community and telling us that, like, it is absolutely unfair when you get a mirror tile in the front line and you put a giant skeleton on top, and then you're kind of pretty much GG'd your opponent in any way possible, especially if you have a 3-star version. And so is in that way we wanted to solve that, because if you have a mirror tile in the front, then you should, your opponent should have one as well. So then let's see who is going to be outsmarting who. And then so that was directly addressing the community feedback. In terms of hero progression, we didn't like the spikiness of level 4 and level 8. We wanted to upfront give people all the main tools for the heroes to just to see what heroes can do, and if they do like that hero, then they go down the path of that hero. If they don't, there is not much of a big deal, because your hero is only level 3, and then you can just move to another hero and then go from there. Same as minis. If you have a bunch of star shards, then you just be like, okay, I like this mini, I want to get the second and third upgrade as soon as possible, and then make a deck that I can run with from the start of the season, and then down the line upgrade all my minis and get to that star exchange requirement that is going to give me the rewards by the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it is pretty much removing the barriers and removing the frustrations that community has been expressing to us.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, in order to do all of that, we had to pretty much rework the progression of minis and heroes, and that in return kind of like caused us to create a 4 month long period of like reworking the entire game pretty much, because that also requires reworking of the economy,
Oh yeah.
reworking of all of that kind of stuff. And also like, if we are going to be adding level 1, 2, and 3 skills to the heroes, might as well double down together with gizmos for heroes to feel like heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see in the dev build, like majority of the heroes don't do what you're used to be doing, right? Like
Yeah.
what you're used to heroes doing anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that we kind of really like wanted to do since the beginning. And so, yeah, it was just a matter of like getting around to it. And then the art team kind of said, okay, well, if you are going to be reworking the progression and all that kind of stuff, we have enough time to actually do the art vision that we always wanted. So that was kind of like the combo that we've came up with. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why this update took this long, which wasn't really intended, but
Yeah.
hey, that's how I ended up being. So yeah,
I feel like that's just also how game development works sometimes.
yeah, especially for the beta game,
Yeah.
because you do have flexibility to do big changes that otherwise in a global game you would not be
Mm-hmm.
able to do.
Yeah. Also, another thing to point out, I absolutely like these small details are things that I've picked up on throughout playing the dev build, and soon the community, once the update is live, you guys will be able to see it, kind of find these things yourself. But like the fact that you need 4, 8, and 12 star shards to upgrade your minis, no matter how much elixir it costs, is incredible. I was really worried that when I first saw that a 4 elixir mini would have increased star shards to be able to level up, but the fact that they're all the same across levels is so good. So I love that. And then the 3 rarities of the crown shards to level up the heroes, the fact that you can exchange them in the shop um, on a daily cycle. It's like a 5 daily cycle. It's kind of like re-rolling for your minis. It's kind of that similar system that's in the game right now for the people watching. But you can re-roll that for the cost of gems, but you can also either just buy crown shards with gems, or
Yep.
you can wait to find that daily offer in the shop that lets you exchange 8 common shards for 2 rare shards, or whatever the ratio was. I'll leave a image on screen for you guys to see. But things like that, like the fact that those were thought about, and there's no longer the repetitiveness of finding something and like, oh, I really need Countess right now, and then you get
Yeah.
Wave Master, and it's like, oh, I get more crystal coins, and I'm up to like 2,500 crystal coins now, and I still don't have my Wave Master leveled up, but I have my Countess maxed out, and I keep getting Countesses. So I love the fact that it's all universal. You can exchange it for things. You can use the gold and gems that you can either purchase or earn through different things, like leveling up, completing quests, completing raids with your clan. Those kinds of things. The fact that it's a quick but not so quick progression is really awesome. So I think the economy and the rework just fits in absolutely perfect with Clash Mini, and I can't wait to see it grow from here, because I'm like genuinely excited about the system that's in the game now. It is so much better, and it's gonna make the game feel 10 times better too.
Yeah, and that is what we're hoping for as well. Having deeper progression with easier way of getting there is that. Yeah, that was the idea, and hopefully that also works out for the new players as well.
Yeah.
Having a very clear path towards. Oh, fun fact: if you haven't played through the tutorial now, now you finish the tutorial with Barbarian King.
Yeah.
And then you very quickly unlock the other heroes, but there is no like it's instead of like that would actually sound bad to existing players because they're like, well, you're removing choice, but actually, we want to kind of smooth out the experience and having simply one way of like learning the game and then very quickly having a choice after that instead of having a choice first and then having to learn the game.
Yeah.
Which kind of which kind of feels counterintuitive because like people don't know how to play the game even with any of these heroes, and then you're asking them to make a choice. Which we wanted to kind of smooth that one out as well. And then like by the time you understand these heroes, then you have enough crown shards to kind of upgrade them and then see what you. So yeah.
Yeah, because aren't there quests now that also unlock heroes?
There should be. I think so. At the beginning, at least.
Yeah.
So that should be like the gateway to like getting the heroes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you play the game, you unlock more things to play the game, is what it essentially has become now. And I'm going to talk about the new player experience as well as part of this honest feedback. And the new player experience, like you had kind of teased that, the tutorial just gives you Barb King now. As you progress, you're able to unlock new heroes. You get shards so that you can level up those heroes. And level 1, you have the first ability already. Level 2, you get the second ability. Level 3, you get the third ability. And it's really easy to kind of get those common crown shards to be able to upgrade the heroes. It's not super quick, but it doesn't take a long time either. If you play for about a week, you should have pretty much all the heroes and have them all at level 3 at that point. So after a week, you can kind of decide which path you want to play the game. If you really like Wave Master and Countess, you can focus on using your crown shards to upgrade those 2 heroes. And then you play that. After about a month, you're probably at level 7, 8-ish at that point. And I want to try Shield Maiden now. Now you play another month and you're kind of catching up. So it's a really nice spread, and it's easy for new players to pick up, kind of learn a hero at a time, figure out which one they like the most, and then be able to focus on that one, and then be able to focus on other ones if they choose. And with the Gizmo tutorial, which I actually showed off in the Gizmo sneak peek, I love the fact that you introduced in that tutorial specifically that you can tap on a mini and choose its upgrades, and rather than implementing that into the first tutorial, because it's kind of like this is your that's a beginner tutorial, and then the Gizmo is like the intermediate tutorial where it's like, all right, you've played the game for a bit now, let's show you this cool advanced tech tip. And it doesn't take very long to hit Silver League either. It takes probably like a couple hours, and then at that point you've come accustomed to the game, and then after that first couple hours you're like, oh cool, a new tech that I can use in my matches, and it gets you more excited to play the game further. So I love the fact that you actually space that out between the 2 tutorials. That was a really smart idea. So just like the look of the game for a new player, the feel of the game, the progression of the game for a new player is honestly so much better than it was in the past. So I love the new player experience inside of Clash Mini right now.
Yeah, one of the things that, to tap to upgrade was addition. We knew that we wanted to add that one for the longest time.
Yep.
I mean, ever since the very first Reddit post was like, why does my opponent have level 3 and has no other upgrades? What's going on here? Are they hacking? We knew that we have a problem. But especially now because we are removing casual mode and you can only play ranked anyway. Being able to hit silver isn't really a big deal. Like you should be able to hit silver, understand how the game works, and then like just learn about the new mechanic. So I think that is going to be a pretty good flow, and it's going to be pretty quick to like address it for the new players. And then move from there. I do believe that is going to be a pretty good solution for now, until we at some point maybe rework the whole tutorial from the beginning and kind of like have it smoothen out even more. But that's something to discuss later. In terms of complexity and all that kind of stuff, like I think at the beginning of the game launch of the beta, we kind of felt like we need to keep things simple and kind of like because like we need to keep it accessible. But what we realized actually very quickly was that majority of our audience that even installs, like the players that install Clash Mini, they kind of don't really expect the game to be super casual and super simple. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of that is also one of the reasons why we're introducing more complexity to the game, is because we kind of underestimated how smart our players are. And so how much, how much actually they want to get deep into the game and kind of
Mm-hmm.
like progress and upgrade and all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of us catching up to the players in terms of what they want and what kind of game they want.
Mm-hmm.
We want a PvP game, so why are you giving us the casual mode anyway? Since might as well just go all in with like getting trophies and that's it. Like give us more gameplay, give us more progression. So that's like kind of like the whole kind of like thinking behind like why we are adding all these things. It's because simply the players want it. So
Yeah. And I think it was implemented near perfectly. Like there were some things within the update that like I wasn't even expecting in terms of complexity. Like the gizmos is such a fantastic way to introduce another layer of complexity to it, and they're all pretty unique, I would say. Um, I don't think there's any two that like you could realistically use the same strategy for. Um, you
yeah.
could probably use like the same minis, but the strategy you would do with them is very different. Whereas like if you have like one of the things when I was doing my gizmo review was I put the pancaker with the Mega Knight, and oh my gosh, the Mega Knight was just, it didn't die. Like it just couldn't die because the pancaker was just throwing pancakes at it the entire time and just healing it up.
Yeah.
And then the Mega Knight was stunning with the increased stun duration and the increased area of effect. And it was like so fun because if I queued into a match and didn't have the pancaker, then at that point I probably wouldn't be leveling up my Mega Knight to level 2. I'd probably be focusing on leveling up a different mini. Um,
Yeah.
so just that in and of itself is, you don't use the same strategy anymore. It really becomes a game-to-game scenario, even if you are playing with the same deck. So that was just like awesome to me. And then the whole plethora of balance changes that came in. I mean, every hero is pretty much reworked because of the new upgrades. I am a little worried about the Countess. I'll be honest. 120% stack HP, 120% attack speed increase it can stack up to, and it attacks 1.5 hits per second, which makes it like 3 hits per second.
Right. Yeah, that was very funny. When I recorded footage for the creators outside of the dev build, I did intentionally put Countess with the training camp to see how she can kind of ramp up and kind of like go wipe the whole board within like 3 or 4 seconds. So yeah. But one thing to keep in mind is that the dev build isn't with final balance changes.
Yes.
So the numbers there could be off and will be off compared to the final version of the game.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, like just 24 hours as we are recording this right now. So on 17th, actually, we just finalized the balance changes. So yeah, it's and obviously the hero tweaks as well,
Mm-hmm.
which are going to really be in the game as a part of the balance changes
Right.
because there's just too many changes for people to kind of like go through and be like, okay, well, every single hero has a new ability, so why am I even reading this instead of just playing and trying it out again? So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And as always, anytime creators release dev build footage, it's always subject to change. But yeah, when I was like going through the heroes, I was like, and I played with the Countess, I was like, Countess is probably broken at level 13 and higher. But honestly, like it's like outside of that one Countess ability, I feel like every other ability and level modifier to the abilities for heroes was really cool. Like the monk with the Clash ability is really cool. The Archer Queen, the fact that her third ability will now make her invisible upon attack, that is so cool, and it connects it to the other, like, who Archer Queen is in the Clash universe. Clash Clans, her ability turns her invisible. Clash Royale, ability turns her invisible. Now in Clash Mini, her ability turns her invisible. Like, those like, connecting features, for somebody who's never played a Clash game, it's a really cool ability, but for people who have played a Clash game, they have that familiarity for them. And it feels like recognizable, which is important to a lot of players who play the same genre across multiple titles. So that is really cool. And then the balance changes. I gotta say, out of all the balance changes, I think my favorite is the guard change, where it has the KO ability now to give a shield to allies. I think that's like the coolest change for me, in my opinion. And honestly, like, the rest of the balance changes are really good. The only other change I'm surprised about, and I think because the game has changed so much, I can't really like give a full opinion on it. It's just based off of past experience with the Royal Ghost, and not having its attack speed per level increase nerfed a little bit. But other than that, like, all the changes, all the balances, it's looking really good. I'm like very, very excited about this update.
Yeah, I mean, the balance changes also do consider gizmo combos now, and the hero combos.
Yeah.
Which is something that we haven't really had before.
Yeah.
So yeah, heroes will play a major role. Gizmos will play a major role, and then minis will be supporting all of these combos. And so yeah, it's yeah, I think it's going to be. That's why, in a way, in small talk, I did say almost 2.0 game. In terms of like the amount of changes that we are adding. It's not actual version 1.9. It was more of a joke, like we're that like game being 2.0, might as well call it 1.9. But it's just like, yeah, I think that was probably me underselling how much of a change this is going to be. And be like, did I actually like emphasize this enough that this is really going to be a big change?
Yeah, this probably is like, it honestly felt like when I opened it, I was like, I'll be honest, because this is an honest feedback review. I opened it and it's like, what is this Clash Mini knockoff? Like that's what it felt like. But then when I played it, I was like, holy crap, this is so, like, the game, like you said, the gameplay itself didn't change. It was mainly just the UI, the visuals, and everything like that. Once you get your hands on the game and you play the game, it feels so much better than it currently does in terms of the gameplay. And to me, that's the most important thing. And like you said, the theme of this season is Robo Rumble. It's a theme season. So for next season, it could be completely different. And I'm sure that will come with its own set of UI changes and visual changes as well. And it'll just grow from there. But the template is what's the important part, and the template has grown on me visually, so I am very, very excited for this update.
Yeah, same here. I just cannot wait for the next week. Well, for the week of the release, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully no delays from Apple and Google, and we can all celebrate with the Supercell team and all the content creators in the space and the community, and rejoice in the glory that Clash Mini will go global, right?
That's the hope.
I was hoping for confirmation there, but it's okay.
Yeah, I did answer that on also Psycho's interview. The whole thinking that we do have an idea when the game would go global is completely wrong. We just need to, as we said, multiple times, we need to just make the best game possible. And if people love the game, if people play the game, and if the new players are sticking to the game and love the game, that's all that matters to us. And that is going to be good enough reason for us to go global. But if the game still has problems, and there is many issues to solve, and we're not solving them update by update, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward actually.
Yeah. I'm still sticking with my prediction of March, April 2023. So probably spring 2023 is my prediction.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I said that like 6-7 months ago at this point.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'll stick with it. I'll stick with that.
Sure.
And we'll see from there. But yeah. So honestly, very very excited for the update. All the changes are huge. It's so good for the longevity of the game. The experience for the new player experience, loading through the tutorials, being able to kind of choose your own path when you play the game, freely upgrade whoever you want. You don't need specific fragments. It's all one. You chase one thing, you get that one thing. You're able to upgrade whatever you want. I would say out of a 5, I'm giving this a solid like 4.75. Like it is near perfect. The graphics took some time to grow on me, but after playing it for a while, it did the trick. I'm digging the graphics now that I've been able to play it for a little bit. So I'm sure people loading up that first sneak peek, they were all like, whoa. And I even said it in my first video. I was like, I'm not like super thrilled. And here I am like a week and a half later after recording that video. And I'm like, okay, now I like it.
Yeah.
So
especially with the sound and the music combo that is not in a dev build, I feel like that is going to
for sure.
push over the top. Because, fun fact, we do now have like a full-time audio team member who
awesome.
kind of went in and kind of reworked everything in terms of the sound and sound effects and music. So every board has its own music now. Every board has its own jingle when you win or lose a round. Every board has its own jingle when you win or lose a match. Every board has like so many unique elements. Like the pads have the pads has different sound effects. The skins have unique sound effects, especially the Robo Rumble ones. When you pick up A1000 and you put her down again onto the board, she makes like a clinky sound because she's made out of metal. And like, there's so many little details that you cannot find so easily within a dev build because they also either haven't been implemented or we just we've hidden them for a while. And and then like cherry on top, the music that you unlock when you hit 1200 trophies is just like a whole new thing, right? So it's like, it is very, very interesting to see how people will react to it. And there's a lot of attention to detail that we really wanted to add, and hopefully that's going to pay off.
Okay, so now my score might have changed to like a 4.9. After the update drops, maybe I'd even put it at a 5 because like I didn't know any of that because like you said in the dev build it's not there yet. And I knew we were getting new music and I knew it was cool, but like that just made it a little bit better. So
yeah. And there is a little tiny Easter egg that we may reveal later down in a month or so for a few things that we have still hidden in terms of the music and sound. Maybe you'll be able to find it on your own, but that's going to be something that we're going to keep in our pocket just for fun.
Nice. Oh, also another side question, kind of relevant to the mini pass. Will there still be mini pass bundles with like a skin attached to it, or is the skin now just going to exclusively be inside of the mini pass?
Yeah, skin is automatically, part of the mini pass purchase. We don't have any bundles anymore with the pass itself.
Okay, so like the Wave Master bundle, that won't, like that, for as an example, like that kind of thing won't. It'll just be the mini pass now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know a lot of people were asking about that when the new passes were released each season. If those specific skins would like come back for purchase, but I think they'll come back for purchase. They just won't be like a part of a pass.
Yeah. That's definitely a potential scenario.
Hmm.
But we also wanted to just give an option to straight up get the skin that you want, like in some bundle offers. So, for example, the PC Pekka is going to be part of a bundle
Hmm.
that is like a separate offer on its own. So it's not really related to any pass related stuff. So the pass is going to be just like free, and then the paid row, and that's it. That's all you get.
Hmm. Now, next question: will the pass be purchasable with gems, or is it still?
I I don't think so. I don't think we added that yet.
Okay. I know those were questions from the community in the past, so figured I'd ask
Yeah,
those
yeah,
where the pass is slightly changing now. Bring those past questions back up.
yeah.
But yeah. So I mean that's it for me. I love the update. Honest review. I was very hesitant at first, but it's grown on me. I really like it. Um, everything about it seems like it's going to be very healthy for the game. But yeah, so that's going to do it. Vlad, was there anything else that we wanted to tease to the community before the update comes out, or have we pretty much
I
covered
think we
everything?
Yeah, I think we've pretty much shown everything that we have, other than just those little things that we may reveal later, and people will
Hmm.
find out over time. So you kind of like a little bit of delightful little things,
Hmm.
nothing major, but we also really wanted to kind of like overview everything to the players like before the update drops, and just to understand how big this update is. And so yeah, hopefully on November 24th, we will see everybody in game, and we'll see how the feedback is really.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. And yes, there's so much in the. I'll have like 3 20-minute plus videos just because of how much information there is in the update.
Yeah, yeah. I am going to try to also do another comedy stream on the main channel.
Awesome.
I'm going to kind of rework the flow of it, have more like kind of a structure to it, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, can't wait.
Awesome. So make sure you guys check out and subscribe to the Clash Mini YouTube channel. I'll leave the link down in the description below. And that's going to do it for this video. Vlad, thank you again so much for joining me in this honest feedback and giving some more insight onto kind of how everything with the update came together.
Thank you so much, and yeah, looking forward to all of your videos as usual. The whole team is subscribed here, so every time there is a new video pop up, everybody's watching it the same exact time.
Love it. Awesome. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content, and don't forget to turn that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos. And we're going to be doing a bunch of guides and tutorials and stuff like that with all the gizmos and new hero stuff. We're going to have so many strategy videos on the channel. It's going to be great. But I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. Peace out.
See you.